Okay, I'm back. It's been a little bit, but I've got it figured out for the most part, I think. Um, I think it's been a couple hours. I've been sitting here thinking about this for a couple hours, and I've come up with a solution. So initially, the problem was that I couldn't put my long beams upright there, the way I did these, right? But I've got a workaround. So this is a test piece I cut. This is a tight fit. Look at that. Like, we'll just get it right there. Oh. Like that's almost holding on its own. Almost. Which is ideal. I'm surprised by how well that works. So what I'm doing is I have this metal piece, right? And you can see here very faintly, I'll move out of the light. I marked a line. I'm using it as a depth stopper. So I'm putting this piece of metal right beside the saw, like so, and then using the clamp to clamp it in the back. And then what that does is, I'll take this piece. It is acting like a stopper. So I cranked up the height of the blade as far as I can go, like so. And then if you look, see that's touching right there, and it's right where the blade comes out. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm using this to make sure that it don't cut too deep, and then what I can do is I can make a cut like this, flip it, and then obviously adjust this thing a little bit, flip it and make another cut right to the same depth. I drew this out earlier, right? So if this is the saw, right, it has a radius, and this is our piece of wood here. I have my stopper here. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm cutting like so, flipping it over, and then making another cut so that the depth is here, and then there's only like this little bit of this little bit of wood there. I apologize for my camera work. I'm good at woodworking and metalworking. This I'm still learning. But, I'm so happy that we got this figured out. Man, you will not believe the stress this caused me. I was sitting here, my brain was steaming. There was steam coming out of my ears. Okay, so here's just another look at the joint here. I got this clamped in. Look at that, there we go. That's pretty much exactly how I wanted it. And now you guys can already see how this is all gonna come together. These four big boys are gonna be put together using that, and then they're gonna sit on these legs. I'll probably use screws here, coming up into the frame, and then we basically have the whole thing done. The only thing that's left is turning these here into the headboard. And I think I'm gonna use some tenon and mortise, maybe? I think that's the right term. Tenon and mortise stuff to make it to fit together nice. And then, it'll be so cool. Before I start cutting, the joints in and stuff, I just wanted to lay it out to see how it's actually looking, and make sure that, the inside size actually fits a queen mattress. And I measured it. A queen mattress is 60 by 80. Our width here is 61. Our length is 81, so I give it a little bit of wiggle room on either side, just so that everything fits nice. I don't have to worry about, wrestling with the mattress anytime I try to, clean my sheets and do whatever. So it looks like it's all fitting together, which was, it was my biggest concern actually, because, like sometimes you measure and you measure again and you cut and it's too short. But today today we have sweet, sweet victory in terms of fitment. Here, let's try this. Let's take one of these bad boys. Now, if you imagine that this is all put together, this guy should sit right there. Would you look at that? Just like so. Just like that. That's what the bed's gonna be sitting on. Man, that is cool. That is really cool. I'm gonna get back to it. Probably lay out all of this. I'm thinking that the width pieces are all gonna be female, and the length or the long pieces are all gonna be male, or something like that. Either that way or the other way. That way it's simple. Like, I know, okay, these pieces are all gonna be like this, these pieces are all gonna be like that. I'm gonna label the corners so that each of the pieces is mated properly, right? So that there's no mix-ups, no switcheroos in terms of fitment. And that's that. So that's kind of how that depth stop works, right here. It's just, I'm just going right up to it, and that keeps me from going too deep. And as you can see, the cut's right on the line. It's perfect. Right. So with these female bits, it's going to be a little bit different, because this one, we're just going to take this, essentially drop. I'll do this afterwards because I don't want to mess with this, but afterwards, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off because it's just clamped on. We're going to set the blade height to exactly how deep I need to cut right here. And then we'll just take the board, if this is the board, like this. Set the guide rail to the right depth. And then rip it like this. And that will cut these chunks right off, no problem. So that'll save us a lot of trouble, and it'll make sure that it's all nice and square. With these ones, it's going to be a little bit different. So with the female end, what we need to do is we need to cut here the same way we're doing right now. And then essentially what I'll just do is I'll freehand more cuts in here so that it's just like a bunch of teeth, right? And then I can bust those out and break those straight out and then just file it down to exactly what depth we need. And that's how I'll make sure everything's nice and square. kidding me? Okay, my camera died, but it's okay. So a little bit of an issue here. The problem is I don't have a proper table here. It's too small, right? So I have this roller, but I had to raise it because at first, when I first measured it, there was a tiny gap and I didn't notice. And then I noticed, so I fixed the gap, but I forgot to set the blade. And now we have this little miscalculation. But it's okay because I don't have a set orientation for this bed yet, so we can just make this corner like the way back that's facing the back wall. So let's just hope we don't do that again. Looks like everything turned out pretty okay. If you can, I don't know if you can see in there, but that's what I was talking about by that little triangle shape. It's exactly like that, just because the saw couldn't actually cut, all the way. But it's okay because we can just file that down, chisel it, file that down. The only thing I'm not too happy with is this. But I mean, it was bound to happen. I don't think I've ever done anything where I didn't make a mistake. So luckily it's on that thing and not something that we can't fix. Next step is taking a chisel and a mallet and getting in there and busting out these chips. It's a little difficult to do one-handed. And since my camera is dead, I don't have a tripod anymore. But it's okay. See? Just like so. Something like that. Grab the mallet. Alright, I gotta switch hands. I'm not a lefty. Okay. Here we go. Alright, so you see the chips. Oops, sorry. The chips come out. And then we're left with this, which we can just file down. Alright, sorry guys, but I did that off camera a little bit there. But I mean, it's straightforward. You just bend it, break it out, no problem. Same thing on the other end. I briefly tested the fit of one of the pieces, and it's a very tight fit. I wasn't able to do it. I wasn't able to just fit it in, no problem. See, it's a little bit too large, or the hole is a little bit too small, which is perfect. It means that I have a little bit of wiggle room that I can file off so that it fits like real snug and tight. That's exactly what I wanted. So now my next step will be removing this little bump here so it's all square, and then also trimming these thingies off, which I'll be doing with the chisel, just going in and yeeting it like that. There we go. See, and so it's nice and smooth there, and then that'll fit right there. Hopefully these two pieces will mate together no problem, and since it's all the same, we shouldn't have any problems with fitment. Alrighty, here we are. So this piece is probably the ugliest corner out of this whole thing, because this piece of wood here, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's very bowed. It's been bowed from the start. And it caused some troubles on the cutting, but I think I actually cut it pretty well. What I would like to point out is how tight this joint is. That is mint. In the back, a little bit of a gap, but that's okay because I think once I get this thing seated right, that gap will go away too. All right, so I'm back. I have all of the joints, all 4 joints done, fitted together, propped up just to check the fitment, and that's all good to go. They all fit nice, real tight. Like, the fitment is perfect. They're all friction fit, and they're a pain in the ass to get apart. Now what I'm going to do next is the headboard. These pieces we're going to turn into the headboard, and I don't remember exactly which one of these is going to be the headboard, but I'll double check the plan and we'll be all good. What I'm going to do for the headboard, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to use a mortise and a tenon. This is the tenon here. So, where are we? There we go. This is from a previous project, a couple test pieces I had, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to cut those pieces, make sure that they all match up real nice. We're going to cut mortise and tenon into them and fit them together like so. Now, these two don't fit together because they weren't meant to, but you guys get the idea. We're going to be doing exactly this. So it'll be sitting there. We'll glue it all together, and we won't need, maybe I'll put a dowel pin in to hold it, and we'll glue it, and then we'll have a solid headpiece, headboard. All right, so here's my setup for the headboard. These bad boys are going to go in here. You're going to slot into the bottom. These are the middle struts. And it's going to fit together kind of like that-ish. You're going to have to use your imagination to see how that fits together. And then all of this together will be seated into the top here. We're going to cut out the mortises and fit those in, no problem. Here's how I'm going to be cutting these tenons. I have the saw set to 1/4 inch, I think. 1/4 inch, something like that. Just deep enough to cut straight lines right across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my piece of wood right there, turn the saw on, and run it across, right? So we have the back stop as a depth stop, and that way all my pieces are going to be consistently the same length. The height of the blade isn't going to change, so all the pieces are going to be the same width and length, like this piece here. And basically I'm just going to go here, and then back it up a little bit, and then here, and then here. And that way I'm going to be cutting little by little off, and then I'll just be left with little bits hanging that I can just break off and then sand down. So here's what it looks like when I have it done. Got it off the saw, and these just break right off, see? And then there's just a little bit of cleanup left. And then basically we're left with that. Alright, and so that's how I'm going to do all of them. They're going to be real nice. Easy peasy, no problem. I figured out a way to clean them on the saw already. Essentially, you go and cut them like this first. So we got the what I showed you guys earlier. And then you just slide them along the blade. Slide them along the blade like this, slowly pushing forward. And that cleans them up really nice. So saved a little bit of work there. I got both ends done. Got both ends done. So then the next step now is marking off the mortises on both ends. So the top of the headboard and the bottom part where the frame is. So I got to figure out which one of these, either that one or this one, which one of those is going to be the bottom part of it, and then figure out exactly where I'm going to be putting these. I think these boils are pretty wide, right about here. Pretty wide, so I think I did the math, and it's 45 inches between here and the one on the other side, which goes here. So we've got 45 in between, and I've divided that by 5 because there's 5 open spaces, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means that at every 9 inches, I can put one of these cross slats. So every 9 inches, I'm going to mark off here, 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 and here. And then and then I need to go in and measure out exactly where, how big this hole is going to be and where this hole is going to be located, and then mark that off. And then tomorrow, I'm going to go to Home Depot and pick up a 3/4 inch drill bit, so I can not pre-drill, but drill out, not on here, but on here, the exact width that I need for the tenons to fit. So we'll go and drill. Maybe I'll get a drill bit that's a little bit bigger, and then I can use the chisel to adjust the width of the hole to get it to be a nice snug fit, because expanding the inside of the mortise is kind of a pain in the ass, especially if it's a pretty tight fit already. So I think that might be the way to go. Plus, like, if the hole's a little bit bigger, we got a quarter inch, something like that. I think it's a quarter inch. Anyways, we got plenty of room to cover up anything that might be a little bit too big on here. So, it should be okay. Whew, I think I'm going to call it a day for today. Whew. We've been going for quite a while, and man, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I can't wait to go to sleep. But yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Oh, bye-bye.